Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Y&R Trends. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Young and the Restless is finally about to blow up with a DNA shock that will rock Genoa City to its foundation, and this time Victor Newman is in possession of the bomb. When Victor discovers Audra Charles's true family, what starts off as a peaceful hunch quickly becomes into a major identity controversy. And the truth is quite different from what anyone anticipated. Audra has been sneaking into Newman Enterprises, Tucker McCall's inner circle, and even Kyle Abbott's bed for months. However, her most recent trick will make Victor furious, saying, "You lied to all of us." When Victor obtains a piece of DNA evidence that not only alters Audra's future but also destroys her past, her entire network of lies, from fictitious names to fabricated histories, unravels. It all begins when Victor's instincts take over, as they always do. From the moment Audra seduced her way into the Newman business world, he never really trusted her. She was cunning, vicious, and alluring, qualities Victor frequently finds appealing, but something about her upbringing didn't quite line up. Her background story was too nebulous, her university transcripts were too polished, and her family was conveniently untraceable. However, Victor Newman doesn't leave questions unanswered. He gives his private investigator instructions to delve farther than Audra ever thought anybody would, and what he discovers is dynamite. The key to unlocking a decades-old mystery is a DNA sample extracted from an abandoned glass in Victor's office. Victor's expression hardens as he reads the startling words, "Match found." When the test results are returned, the DNA match connects Audra Charles to a former acquaintance of Victor's, who was involved in the complicated history of the Newman family. Victor's head is spinning when he learns that Audra's biological ancestry is linked to an old Newman enemy. Is it possible that she was set up as a means of retaliation? Is it possible that her entire stay in Genoa City was planned? The findings show that Audra was born under a whole other identity, one associated with a family whose name Victor pledged never to use again, and that her last name is not Charles at all. The Newman dynasty is rocked by the ramifications. Victor calls Audra into his office during a stressful, dramatic scene at Newman Enterprises. His voice is low yet frighteningly calm. Nikki watches from the sidelines as Victor sits behind his enormous desk, a man prepared to pass judgment, seeing the storm building but remaining silent. With a voice like thunder rolling over the horizon, he tells her to sit down. Audra crosses her legs, smiles confidently, and acts unaffected. However, when Victor moves a manila folder across the desk, her heart quickens. He snarls, "You've been lying since day one." Victor abruptly interrupts Audra as she tries to seem perplexed. "Miss Charles, or should I say Miss Audra Ruiz, don't play games with me. The name is like a bullet." Audra becomes motionless. The facade fractures. The calm, calculating woman who everyone believed to be familiar vanishes for a moment, to be replaced by unadulterated fear. "Where did that name come from?" She tries to sound calm, but her voice trembles as she asks. With his eyes flaming with rage, Victor gets up from his chair and looms over her. He yells, "The DNA doesn't lie. I am fully aware of who your true family is. You've been living a lie, and you've used it to control my business and my family. Today is the last day." Victor's rage is both personal and professional. He feels duped, misled, and raped. The legendary Victor Newman, who read people like open books to create an empire, was duped by someone he believed he could manipulate. Victor's voice, demanding answers, reverberates around the room as Nikki enters. "What's happening, Victor?" Glancing between him and Audra, she asks warily. Victor opens the folder without thinking and slams the DNA results onto the desk. "That's what's happening," he roars. "This woman, this liar, is not who she claims to be." Audra's meticulously constructed world starts to fall apart. She stammers as she tries to explain that her family was poisonous, that she wanted to move on from her history, and that she changed her name for personal reasons. Victor won't listen, though. His voice quivering with repressed anger, he growls, "You lied to me. You misled us all. You entered my family and my firm with a foundation of dishonesty. You paid me back with this after I trusted you with my son's business." As Victor reveals that Audra is the secret daughter of one of his most dangerous former rivals, A guy who once attempted to destroy Newman Enterprises from within. The tension in the room is palpable. The DNA results unequivocally demonstrate this. Victor thought the rival's family had disappeared from Genoa City's sphere of influence for decades. But now he sees evidence that the conflict never truly ended. Victor believed he had won the war long ago, but Audra's presence continued it. So this was your original plan, Victor spits. Take what's mine and get close to my family and company? Similar to what your father attempted to do. Audra protests that she didn't know, tears welling up in her eyes. She asserts that her relationship to the Newman family was a coincidence, and that she only recently learnt of her heritage. Victor but doesn't think so. You think I'll believe that? Coldly, he asks. That you unintentionally wandered into Newman territory, collaborating with my adversaries, luring Kyle Abbott, controlling Tucker McCall, and now attempting to seize my assets. Audra is besieged as each accusation cuts deeper. When Adam enters, intrigued by the yelling, the altercation intensifies. Even his own son is shocked when Victor shares the revelation without hesitation. Victor says, "She's been lying about everything, Adam. Even her family." Adam, who normally smirks easily, seemed genuinely taken aback. "What is the truth, then?" he inquires. Victor gives Audra a scowl before uttering the name that transforms everything. Adam's mouth drops when Victor explains. Her real father was part of the Ruiz cartel in Mexico. The same man responsible for trying to take down Newman Enterprises in the 90s. Audra remains silent. The news goes viral in Genoa City. When Tucker discovers that the lady he believed he could control was actually manipulating him, he feels deceived. Kyle, on the other hand, is in shock since he gave Audra access to both his bed and his heart because he thought she was self-reliant, ambitious, and possibly misinterpreted. He now considers her to be a skilled liar. Enraged that another con artist has infiltrated their group, Nikki cautions Victor that if this becomes public, it could damage Newman's reputation. However, Victor is already planning his next course of action. In addition to exposing Audra, he will ruin the legacy she attempted to change. That night, Audra is by herself in her suite and looks into the mirror, her image broken and unrecognizable. The self-assured woman who used to dominate corporate titans now appears to be a cornered fugitive. Her mind is filled with flashbacks, such as renaming herself, hiding her family background, and making a self-promise to never reveal the truth. But now, because of Victor's unrelenting quest for power, everything is falling apart. He knows everything, she murmurs to herself. Her tear-streaked face is captured on video as she picks up her phone, calls someone and says in a weak voice, "They found out who I am. Before Victor destroys me, we must move." Victor calls his kids to a family meeting at Newman Tower the following day. Curious and wary, Nick, Victoria, and Adam assemble around the conference table. Victor doesn't squander time. He brings forth the whole discovery, including the DNA proof, the false identity, and the hidden past, saying bluntly, Audra Charles is not who she says she is. Nick murmurs, "Unbelievable," and shakes his head. Victoria, who once thought Audra had executive potential, appears deceived. Yes, she had ambition, but this is sociopathic, she remarks icily. Adam smirks and leans back, ever the opportunist. Now what, Dad? Will you turn her over to the police? Or take advantage of her secret? Victor gives him a stare that completely erases the joy from his face. Adam, this isn't about leverage. This has to do with both trust and treachery. Under false pretenses, she entered the world of my family. There will be consequences for that. Audra isn't done fighting, though. Desperate for a final opportunity to defend herself, she unexpectedly shows up at the Newman property. She rushes inside Victor's study and begs, "Please, Victor. You must allow me to clarify. It was only recently that I learnt about my father." Victor looks down at her, his countenance unreadable. "I swear, I never meant to deceive you. The DNA is truthful," he declares icily. "My instincts don't either. You didn't come here to be devoted to Newman Enterprises." Audra maintains that she has evolved and has long since moved on from her father's world. She acknowledges that she changed her name in order to break free from that family's shadow and achieve success on her own terms. Victor, though, is unfazed. He continues in a low, menacing voice, "You can change your name, Miss Charles, but you can't change your blood. Y&R fireworks abound in the episode's last seconds. Deflated and in tears, Audra turns to walk away, but Victor strikes one final blow. He says, "You're done here. You will never again work for Tucker McCall, Jabot, or Newman. I'll see to it that the truth is known to everyone in this community. Did you desire power? Now you'll learn what true power looks like when it's applied to your detriment." The camera cuts to Victor standing by the fireplace with the DNA report in his hand as Audra leaves the Newman ranch for what may be the last time. His eyes blaze with anger and betrayal, and his jaw tightens. With a hand on his shoulder, Nikki stealthily moves closer. She murmurs, "You did the right thing, darling." Victor lets out a breath while maintaining eye contact with the flames. "No," he says gloomily. "I just did what I always do. Protect this family from another liar." However, the tale is far from finished. There are rumors that there may be one more twist to the DNA discovery. Victor and Audra may be closer than he thinks. Was there tampering with the test? Is it possible that Audra shares blood with a member of the Newman family? The consequences from this DNA revelation promises to shatter alliances, spark conflicts, and alter everything we believe to be true about Audra Charles as The Young and the Restless goes on. Nothing could have prepared Victor Newman for the personal betrayal that came with Audra Charles's DNA secret, despite the fact that he had previously battled formidable foes such as corporate sharks, merciless rivals, and even his own children when ambition clouded their devotion. Once a stronghold of history and authority, the walls of Newman Enterprises today feel like a house of ghosts. The powerful patriarch who built an empire on dominance and foresight over the course of decades, is now reeling from a reality that was right in front of him. Audra Charles, the woman he once considered to be a rising star in his circle, was actually someone with blood ties that reopened one of his darkest past chapters. Genoa City experiences the fallout in the days after the DNA disclosure. In this town, rumors spread like wildfire, and the elite are talking about Victor's explosive encounter with Audra. Concerned about the potential impact of the controversy on their own careers, Newman employees murmur anxiously in the hallways. This kind of bloodline scandal might ruin years of strategic partnerships for a firm that is fixated with its brand. Victor is aware that the vultures, including Tucker McCall, Jack Abbott, and Billy Abbott, would swarm about once the tale is made public since they are looking for weakness. The Newman Ranch is a battleground of emotions at home. As her husband becomes fixated on every aspect of the DNA results, Nikki Newman, calm as ever but disturbed on the inside, attempts to keep him stable. As they sit by the fire one evening, Victor insists, "It's not just about business, Nikki. Our lives were invaded by this woman. She carried the blood of a man who attempted to destroy me, but she gained our faith under false pretenses." As his voice raises, Nikki watches him pace while holding a glass of scotch. "I will not tolerate such dishonesty." Even Nikki, who is always the voice of reason, recognizes a deeper aspect to Victor's rage. It's hurt, not simply rage. Victor took great satisfaction in his ability to spot deceit for years. With her refined charm and alluring ambition, Audra gave him the impression that she could be shaped into a devoted Newman ally, possibly even his successor in the business sector. That illusion has now collapsed. Nikki reaches for his hand and murmurs, "You can't rewrite the past, darling. The only thing you can do is choose the extent to which you will hold her accountable." Audra has gone underground in the meanwhile. Tucker McCall and Nate Hastings are calling her non-stop, demanding answers. Tucker leaves a scathing voicemail, insists that his planned partner has been lying to him as well. With a tone as sharp as glass, he replies, "You should have told me who you really were. Do you believe you can outwit Victor Newman? I wish you well, my love. You've just signed your own death warrant, both personally and professionally." Audra is aware that Tucker's threat is real. If it means preserving his own skin, he is not above disclosing the DNA tale himself. She looks through old pictures of her mother, who raised her by herself away from the shadow of her biological father's empire, while sitting by herself in a dimly lit suite at the Grand Phoenix. She recalls hearing that her father's name should never be uttered out loud since he was dangerous. Years later, however, she discovered the truth and vowed never to allow it to define who she was. She transformed into Audra Charles, the fearless, determined lady who will overcome anything in her path. However, Victor's revelation has taken away that armor. She is now the scared child who spent her childhood running away from her own name. Her eyes flare with resolve as she looks into the mirror. She murmurs, "I'm not going down without a fight." Victor starts setting up his war room at Newman Enterprises. To talk about his legal alternatives, he summons Michael Baldwin. Victor commands, "I want every contract she's signed reviewed. Every agreement, every provision." Michael arches an eyebrow. "I want her cut off right away if there's even one breach because of her fake identity." "Victor, you're referring to complete blacklisting." Victor doesn't think twice. "That could ruin her professionally, for life." "Well, she crossed me, therefore let that be her punishment." Despite Victor's brutality, his kids don't agree on how to address the circumstance. Nick believes that Victor's resentment has gotten out of control. Nick protests, "Dad, she made a mistake," during a heated family gathering. "Maybe she deserves an opportunity to explain, but you've destroyed people for less." Perhaps she changed her identity because she was afraid of her background. Victor gives him a scowl from across the table. "Are you standing up for her?" he yells. "After she deceived us all." "I'm not defending her. I'm saying you're acting like she's a criminal when she might just be human," Nick retorts. But Victoria takes Victor's side. "Don't be naive, Nick," she says icily. Audra is not a scared lady attempting to make a fresh start. Since arriving in Genoa City, she has been controlling everyone she has encountered. Nate, Tucker, Kyle, and even me. And who knows what she would be planning if Dad hadn't discovered that DNA report. Adam sips his coffee while grinning in the corner. "I agree with Victoria for once," he declares. "Audra is only devoted to herself." Victor's phone beeps with an alert as the family is arguing. Audra was just spotted going inside Tucker McCall's apartment. Victor immediately gets up and declares, "The meeting is over." Nikki begs him to stop, but it doesn't help. Victor doesn't give up until he has declared victory when he smells blood. The conflict in Tucker's penthouse is intense. Angry and cautious, Tucker gives Victor his customary smug smile at the door. "What attracts the legendary Victor Newman to my modest home?" He jokes. "Are you here to boast? Or to complete the burial of the woman you revealed?" Without responding, Victor walks past him and discovers Audra inside, her face displaying a mixture of fear and anger. Victor looks at Tucker and remarks, "I see you're still running with snakes." Fitting. Audra's shoulders are squared. "Victor, you've made your point. Now everyone is aware of who I am. What more do you want after ruining my reputation and career?" Victor lets out a growl. "I want you to leave. Out of this place, out of my company. You've turned the wrong man into an idiot." In an attempt to ease the tension, Tucker moves between them, but Victor interrupts. "McCall, stay out of this. You have become nothing more than a parasite that feeds off the errors of others." He gives Audra a fierce look and says, "But her mistake was thinking she could outsmart me." Audra loses her composure and becomes enraged. "I'm not yours. Do you believe that you are a god in this town determining who succeeds and who doesn't? I didn't inherit anything. I earned for it. Do you wish to discuss lies? Victor, take a look around you. They are the foundation of your own family." The words were like a strike to him. She is correct about Nikki's drunkenness, Adam's deceit, and Victoria's vicious nature. Victor, however, doesn't recoil. "You're correct," he murmurs in an icy voice. "Everybody has sins. I'll confess that mine is different. You conceal yourself behind yours." The door slams behind him as he turns and walks away. Tucker murmurs, "You really shouldn't have poked the bear," as Audra collapses to the ground, trembling with anguish. The following morning, Audra discovers that her bank accounts are frozen until an investigation is conducted. Her Newman email has been deleted, and she is locked out of all of her accounts. Victor's impact has spread quickly and deeply. She informs Nate, who meets her in secret at Crimson Lights. "He's making sure I can't even breathe without his permission." Nate warns her that Victor isn't finished, caught between self-preservation and sympathy. "Audra, you must get out of town. This is not going to be your victory." Audra, however, won't run. With fiery eyes, she declares, "If Victor wants a war, he's going to get one." Victor is unaware that a fresh development is taking on behind the scenes. Audra orders a second DNA test in secret, and the results reveal more information that might completely change the situation. According to the study, Audra has a partial genetic connection to another member of the Newman family on her mother's side rather than her father's. According to the findings, Audra may have distant ancestry with a member of Victor's own family, such as a Newman cousin or even one of his half-siblings from a long-forgotten family connection. Audra's hands shake as she reads the results. "Oh my God," she murmurs. "This changes everything." She may be able to regain her position and expose Victor's duplicity, if she can demonstrate that her relationship to the Newmans is based on blood rather than lies. The episode culminates in yet another turbulent conflict. This time, Audra rushes into the Newman ranch with the DNA envelope in hand rather than waiting for Victor to approach her. As Audra enters and slaps the document on Victor's desk, Nikki gets up in horror. "You believe you are an expert on everything," she insists. Victor raises an eyebrow in amusement and says, "Think again. This place is not for you." She passes the updated DNA findings in his direction and adds, "Maybe not, but you need to see this. You desired the truth? It's right here. I am connected to you. It's via someone else, not the man you despise. Go ahead, Victor, and tell me once more how much you hate me, even though our blood may be related." For a brief moment, Victor's self-assured facade slips as he looks at her. Nikki covers her mouth with her palm as her eyes enlarge. "Victor, is that possible?" she murmurs.